What's good, y'all? What's good? Your boy Mike from the Speak Your Cloud podcast. This is not a Speak Your Cloud podcast episode, of course. This is pre-recorded. Another movie review, man. Another movie review. I did a couple of movie reviews on this channel, not much. Um, Scarface, I reviewed that, which is my favorite movie of all time. Pulp Fiction, my second favorite movie of all time. And I have done the Texas Chainsaw Massacre with my brother, Triborough Gigolo, my boy Chris from the Speak Club podcast. I also did New Jersey Drive, the 1995 cult classic, in my personal opinion. Did that. I want to do more films. So today, it's Halloween. She's another pumpkin. I figured I would do a horror film, you know what I mean? And it's one of my favorite horror films of all time. It's in that cult classic area, but I fucking adore it. It's incredible. It was released May of '95. I seen it in '95 when it came on VHS. You know what I mean? I was 10 years old, and around that time, my mother was like, "Fuck it, he's gonna end up watching shit anyway." You know what I mean? Um, she wasn't really strict with me on that sometimes, but for the most part, I just watched what the fuck I did. I didn't watch no sexual stuff though, no crazy pornos and shit like that until I got like a teenager. You know what I mean? But Spice Channel was around, and that taught me how to actually fuck. So it was like '99. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, Tales from the Hood, 1995, man. For those who don't never seen Tales from the Hood before, it is a anthology film. Based on like Tales from the Crypt, the popular television show Tales from the Crypt, with its own spin on it. You know what I mean? Tales from the Hood, and I absolutely adore this film. Absolutely. One of my favorite movies of all time, like Point Blank Period. There is a fucking sequel. I'll be reviewing that today too. Oh, we'll get to that later. But this movie, man, is fucking amazing. I love it to death. It is so fucking dope, man. Um, when I first seen it in '95, I was just blown away. The shit was ill. Really, really fucking dope. Um, the movie starts out in it's based in South Central Los Angeles. Uh, these teenage gang members and drug dealers. Joe Torre is in the film. He was also in Poetic Justice. Stand-up comedian. He plays in a member of the gang called Stack. Then we got Ball. Ball's played by DeAndre Bonds. He played what do you play, man? I'm trying to think that nigga name. Stacy in Wood. The 1999 film The Wood. He also played in Sunset Park. I forgot his name in there. Then we got Bulldog, Samuel Monroe Jr. believe. He is uh Ilana's cousin from Menace to Society that murders Kane. He's also in Players Club. He's in there. Man, he's in a couple other things too, but that's what he's mostly known for. You know, and that's the gang members. And they arrive at the this funeral home, to get some drugs. You know what I mean? And it's called I think the Sims Funeral Home. And they are greeted by Mr. Sims, who was played by the actor Clarence Williams III. He played in a bunch of fucking movies. He played in Purple Rain, Prince's dad. He played in Sugar Hill as Ray Nathan's and Romello's dad. Great movie. Played in countless other shit too. It escapes me on the top of my head though. You know what I mean? But he's like the mortician. You know, and he said he found the drugs in an alley. He has stored them away. You know what I mean? Kept them safe. And they want the shit immediately. These dudes want the shit. You know what I mean? And there's a point in the movie he's like, "Don't worry, you'll get this shit. You'll be knee deep in this shit. That is, classic line from the film, quoted everywhere. You know, great fucking little tagline that Clarence Williams has in that movie as Mr. Sims. Fucking love it, man. And like I said, it's like an anthology film. You're getting 4 stories, and the first story is Road Cop Revelation. It's about this cop named Clarence, and he's a police officer. You know what I mean? And he has partners. I forgot their fucking names. It escapes me at the moment. I think one of them's name's Newton, like his main partner, and they have 2 other dudes with them. I think it's Storm, the one name is, and I forgot the other dude's name. But they stopped the civil rights leader. His name is Martin Morehouse, and they stopped him, and they're just fucking with him because Martin Morehouse wants to put out all these fucking dirty cops. You know what I mean? He wants to stop these motherfuckers, man, because they're just like slinging drugs in the hood and shit like that and fucking up the community. So they're dirty cops too. They don't like that shit, so they stop them. They're just trying to say that he's putting down good cops, which he's not. He's putting down pieces of shit. And they beat the nigga with nightsticks and fucking. He said, "Why you?" Before they do that, it's like, "Why you stop me for? You got no reason to stop me." He said, "Now you do." And one of the cocksuckers, he like knocks out the taillight and shit. He got a broken taillight. And they beat him pretty bad, like half to death damn near. They brutally beat this dude. And of course, Clarence, the black cop, he knows what's up. He said, "What the fuck?" He runs over there to stop him. You know what I mean? First they send him away, and they tell him to go look up the license plate, and they do. He finds out who it is, and he tells them, you know what I mean? And then he sees Morehouse all beat the fuck up, and he's like, "Yo, what the fuck?" You know what I mean? And then Newton, the main partner of Clarence Newton, he tells him that they're good cops, and they've been busting their ass on the force for years, and he said, "You got a green dick," meaning he's like a rookie or whatever the fuck. And he don't want to hear that shit. He knows that shit's wrong. He wants to turn them in, but he persuades him that, he was going for, Martin Morehouse was going for one of the cops' guns, and just fucking pathetic. You know what I mean? And then they take Martin Morehouse in this car to like near the river, and they shoot him with heroin, and like throw the car in the river and shit like that. I think that shit was crazy, man. Dirty motherfucking cops, man. Dirty, dirty cops. We'll take him to the hospital, but they didn't do that, of course. So 1 year later to the day, Clarence left the police force, and now he was just guilty that he didn't turn them in, and he became a fucking drunk. You know what I mean? And he's walking through his hood, and he sees a mural of Martin Morehouse, and then he sees a vision of him on a cross, and Martin's like haunting him, saying, "Bring them to me," and shit like that. You know what I mean? And he's like, "I will." Fucking fantastic movie, man. Over the top, crazy shit, but I fucking love it. And he calls them to the gravesite. You know what I mean? He calls the cops that killed him to the gravesite, and they're wondering like, why the fuck are we out here? You know what I mean? And Clarence is like telling them, we're out here. You killed this man, an innocent man. 1 year ago today, and he's lying. That I think it's Storm. I think his name is the cop. That he's fucking lying, saying that he didn't want to go to the hospital, and Clarence is like, cut this shit. He's like, cut this shit, man. And they they get real disrespectful, and Storm is like, I'm gonna piss on his grave, and he starts pissing on Martin Morehouse's grave, and he tells one of the other officers to piss on the grave too, and he's like all like fucking hesitant about it. And once he starts to do it, beneath the ground, out comes Martin Morehouse in zombie form. and just like pounds his fucking head to the tombstone, drags him down underneath the ground, and then when he comes up, he has the cop's heart in his hand, pumping. Crazy shit. And Storm and Newton, they bounce, you know what I mean? And get in the car, he's following them. They going fucking crazy. Fucking Martin Morehouse just takes off fucking Storm's head. Takes off his head completely clean. Newton freaks out. He gets out the fucking car, starts shooting at him. The fucking car ends up blowing up. He thinks he got rid of him. Then he's like going out of his mind, just running the alley, saying, I killed him. I killed him. You see him pointing to the mural of Morehouse. I killed him. I killed him. And he's around a bunch of fucking fiends and crackheads and shit. You know, just fucking niggas zooted. And he comes back. You know what I mean? Martin Morehouse comes back. And he fucking picks up Newton. Just he raises him up, throws him near the wall, and just picks up like he teleports. Not that time teleports, my bad. Like telekinesis. Yeah, uses that shit to pick up the needles and just stab him through Newton or whatever the fuck. And the first, it ends like that. You know, the first act ends like that. And then Mr. Sim tells the gangsters. He tells them they look at the second casket. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. Each casket got the body of the main character that they're talking about. You know, Clarence was in the casket, but you know what? After that happened, it shows Clarence in like a mental hospital, and the two workers are like, he used to be a cop and he killed 3 people in one night. I don't know how the fuck Clarence died. Maybe he killed himself in the fucking mental hospital. I don't know. But yeah. After that, they go to the second story, and it's a real fucked up, burnt body. You know what I mean? And I think Ball's like, what the fuck happened to him? You know? And then they go into the second story. It's called Boys Do Get Bruised. Um, Walter is the main character, and he's a quiet, sensitive boy. You know, shows up to school one day with bruises on his body. And Walter has like a caring teacher. You know what I mean? Who's the director of the film? I forgot the name of the damn director, but he's the director. The light skinned nigga with the braids. Um, he shows up. And asks him like, what has happened? You know what I mean? You know, Walter just keeps telling him he's attacked by a monster. You know, a couple of days later, he shows up again with a bruised arm, and he gets a little scuffle with some light skinned nigga named Tyrone. Some little dude. He's a fucking bully. You know what I mean? So he has a black eye, and the nurse and the light skinned teacher's like, what happened? Like, who gave you that? Tyrone didn't punch you in the eye? He's like, no. And the nurse is like, yeah, that's been there for a couple of days, so whatever the fuck. And I'm trying to figure out how he got them bruises. And he leaves with the ice pack on his head, and he's like, he told me no one would believe me. He said, he keeps saying there's a monster that did this. So, a little while after that, Tyrone's in class, and he's drawing pictures. He's drawing, like a monster, and he drew Tyrone. And the teacher asked him if he crumbles the paper. No. Walter said something about if he crumbles the paper, his enemies will go away, some shit like that. I'm pretty sure. And the teacher's like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" You know what I mean? And uh, he leaves. The teacher leaves, and then Walter, obviously Tyrone's one of his enemies, so he, crumbles up the picture of Tyrone. Sip of water, my bad. He crumbles up the picture of Tyrone, and all you hear is the screech and fucking Tyrone's end up falling down the stairs. And this is one of the funniest scenes in the movie to me, man. I was just dying. It shows a light skinned teacher talking to this other teacher, and he's like, "What happened?" He's like, "He fell," and he's like, "No." He said, "Did someone push him?" He's like, "No, he just fell, kind of collapsed." He's like, "I don't understand how you break both arms and legs from falling down." He's like, "Boy must have had weak bones." Dog, I fucking lost it. When the other teacher said, "Boy must have had weak bones," I was in tears, man. I don't know, that little scene just cracks me the fuck up. But, the teacher has enough. He ends up going to um Walter's house, you know what I mean? To talk to his parents or whatever the fuck. And the mother answers the same the mother that plays Walter's mother plays the same he plays the chick that's in Friday, the bitch that's always cursing out Ice Cube. She plays in Friday. And he's like, he goes inside to talk to her. I think a pigeon shit on his fucking shirt or something, on his suit jacket. She cleans off the pigeon shit off his suit jacket, and they get to talking about how Walter's coming with bruises, and he says a munch is doing it, and then the mother gets mad because she's probably scared shit of who's really doing it. We'll get to that though, and yells at Walter, tells him to go in his room and all that shit, and then the boyfriend, the mother's boyfriend, ends up coming to the house, got an attitude. She gives him like cups of tea, and he's like, "This is the monster that Walter's talking about." He shows the boyfriend, the who's played by David Allen Greer, by the way, sorry about that. He played by David Allen Greer. Shows him a picture of the monster. He's like, "I will talk to him." And the teacher's like, "What? That's all you're gonna do is talk to him?" He's like, "Yeah, I will talk to him." And he tells the mother to show him out the door. Goes out the door. This pisses off the father. Well, the stepfather, I should say. He starts whooping the mother's ass. He fucking, slaps around Walter a bit. And then through the window, the teacher sees this. Walter's teacher sees this shit. And he ends up coming in. He fights the stepfather. Um, he gets his ass kicked. Then the mother tries to hit him with a frying pan. He punches her. And then the picture of the monster, it worked when he crumbled it on Tyrone. So, fuck it. He starts folding the picture of the monster, which is, in his mind, it's the stepfather who beats him. And it starts twisting his fucking ligaments and shit. Twisting his arms. Funny as fuck. And he's all fucking, there's a ball of flesh. And he's like, "It ain't over yet, bitch." And she's like, "I believe it is." She stomps on him. Stomps on the paper, I think it is. And then he's all fucked up. Damn near half gone. And then the teacher grabs a ball of paper and he's like, "You know what time it is." He tells Walter, and he puts the paper in the oven. He burns, and that act is done. Boys do get bruised. Fantastic story. I love that story. It's great. And then you go to the next story. KKK comeuppance. It's about this fucking. He's a racist ass senator, Duke Metker, I think his name is. And he's a former member of the Ku Klux Klan to put some icing on the motherfucking cake. The senator's in the office, he's doing his commercial. And then he has like Jewish and African American groups. They teamed up to protest against him for being a fucking racist scumbag. And um, he lives in like this old slave plantation. You know what I mean? Um, and he has like this light skinned dude with him. That's he's an Uncle Tom ass nigga. This dude, I forgot the actor's name. He plays in Do the Right Thing. He plays in He Got Game and a bunch of other shit. He's a great actor. But I think he's assistant of the motherfucking of him, of Duke. Uh and people just are outraged, you know what I mean? And there's this old black man, he's like, "They don't want you there. She's not gonna let it." The souls won't let you there. And when he says she, he's referring to like this is some old black lady that lived there, I think. You know what I mean? And she made dolls and stuff like that. And America's not having it. He ain't even listening. You know what I mean? And then they're filming some like with Duke talking about how he's gonna make shit better, whatever the fuck. And then his house nigga tells Duke to take the camera, and they're just talking shit. And he's like, only spooks I'm afraid of is ones with guns. You know what I mean? Very fucking racist, of course. And it's hard to watch when you're a black man. You know what I mean? Me being a black man, it's very hard to watch some of this shit. But it's fantastic. You know what I mean? It's absolutely fantastic. Um, and then out of nowhere, the little one of the dolls that the slave made was like a witch, like a hoodoo witch. I think she was a slave though. She was a witch that lived there though. I think some shit like that. And she made these dolls, and the doll was like on the floor, and the house nigga tripped, falls on the stairs, just dies. You know what I mean? And he has a funeral and stuff like that. And um, I think he meets up with that black guy. Comes back again. He warns him again to get out the house. You know what I mean? He's still refusing to get out the house. You know what I mean? And then Duke ends up watching the tape where that light skinned dude that was kissing his ass so he died. And I think he ends up seeing the doll on the motherfucking what you call it there, on the tape or something like that. And the doll ends up coming in contact with Duke, you know, and he ends up like biting his neck and shit like that, you know. Then he takes the doll outside, puts it to a dartboard, and he's like, "I'm gonna blow off your little nigga balls." That shit cracked me the fuck up, man. It's as a black man, it's very hard to watch, but that's some shit is funny though. I'm not gonna lie. And then he ends up, shooting it, but that don't do nothing to it. You know what I mean? And then he ends up seeing the dolls again, like more dolls. You know what I mean? Chasing them and shit. And he sees a painting of it. The doll's image is faded to white. He's scared as shit. Then he sees the army of dolls. An army of them, and they just start biting away on him, just kill him. Just kill him right there and shit, and ends like that. You know what I mean? Then it shows the hoodoo witch is sitting in the chair, rocking back and forth, holding that the doll. You know what I mean? And after that, like the dealers that are at the funeral home, they just get impatient as fuck. But they want the drugs, the shit. They want that shit, and they say they're sick of the stories. You know what I mean? But he said he has one last story to tell him. And, this is my favorite story right here, man. This is my favorite fucking story, man. I fucking love it, man. It's called Hardcore Convert. And it's about Crazy K. He's a violent ass gang member. He's homicidal. He's a psychopath. He killed many people, before. And he's driving down the streets of LA and bumping that Spice One Born to Die. And he sees someone that he had beef with before, shoots him. Fucking after that, these men, they can't really see who they are. They end up shooting Crazy K, and then Crazy K like goes into this like dream sequence of him getting locked up in his place. Kind of like they get the treatment like Clockwork Orange. When that main character Alex was just a fucking crazy dude killing people and stuff like that. And they did this program to change him or whatever the fuck, kind of like that. And they put him in the fucking cage with this KKK member. You know what I mean? And he's telling them like, who did you kill? What color were they? It's like they were niggas, right? You know what I mean? Before that, though, Crazy K punched him in the mouth. You seen all the fucking Hitler tattoos and fucking swastikas and all that. You know, that set him off or whatever. But he didn't appreciate, him being locked in there with him. He told the lady with the dreadlocks that one of the doctors or the fuck she is, and they give him this program. And this is one of the greatest sequences in film history. And that's what I think. I really truly think that they show him this like all the film of blacks killing blacks, which was rampant in the West Coast and in the '90s. Probably worldwide, but the West Coast had a lot because of gang violence. A lot of killings of black men killing each other, and they mixed that with showing the motherfucking lynch mobs killing us. The black people back in the day, like hanging us, all the hangings and stuff like that, and how proud they were to show the hangings, take pictures with the hangings, and all that despicable shit. And it's the saying what you're doing is no different. It's a lesson to be learned here. Like you're murdering your own brothers. You're murdering blacks just like the whites killed the blacks. Great, great shit. I hear people say it's too preachy, but I don't think so. I think it's fantastic. And after that, he wakes up to the people that he killed, telling him, "Why did you kill me?" You know what I mean? One of his homeboys said, "Why'd you kill me?" And Crazy K was like, "Cause you're coming up short, man. I couldn't let you get by with that." And he see these other dudes, these three dudes, they got murdered. He said, "We didn't even kill your homeboy." He's like, "Y'all niggas did shoot my niggas, so I had to put in that work." You know what I mean? So, but then it goes to a little girl, and you can tell Crazy K got a little bit of remorse. The little girl's like, um, "No, I wasn't doing nothing. Just the bullet came through the wall and killed me when I was playing." And he's like, "You're at the wrong place at the wrong time." He kind of remorseful about that. And all these other people come out talking shit to him. And then the lady with the dreads that ran like the program is like, "You can save yourself now, whatever the fuck." And um, Crazy K grabs the nurse and says, "You let me out of here, I'll snap this bitch's neck." And they're like, the lady with the dreads like, "No, don't do it, don't do it." But Crazy K just outbursts, "But I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck," repeatedly saying it, and it's basically that's all in his head. You know what I mean? Because in reality, he got shot by the main characters, man. Not the main character. Yeah, we could say that. The main, the three drug dealers. You know what I mean? They're standing over him and they shoot him because I guess he shot their homie. You know what I mean? So once he shot them, once they shot him, because they asked him, I think the bulldog was like, "Want to get shot in the chest or the head, motherfucker? Make a choice," something like that. He's like, "I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck." And he's just coughing up the blood. And then they all empty the clip of him, you know what I mean? And they're like, "One less nigga." And then it turns into, back at the Sims funeral home, they're like, "Yo, Bulldog's like, that last story wasn't funny. He's getting kind of creeped out," you know what I mean? And Mrs. Sims is like, "I'll give you the shit, I'll give you the shit." And he leads them to the caskets, shows them where it's at. They open the caskets and they see themselves in the caskets. And they're freaked the fuck out, of course. You know what I mean? Great, great part of the story. And they're like, "No, what the fuck?" And then Mr. Sims is like, and one of the dudes like, "Are we dead?" You know what I mean? He's like, "Very much so, very." He's like, "You see, after you killed Crazy K, some of his boys killed you. You know?" I thought it was dope as fuck. And he's like, "This ain't no funeral home. This ain't the Terror Dome neither." Fucking fantastic. Got the snake tongue coming out and all that. Turns into the motherfucking devil. Welcome to hell, motherfuckers. They're in hell, man. They're burning eternally. It ends. Boom. You got the 1995 masterpiece, in my personal opinion, of Tales from the Hood. Absolutely fucking love this movie, man. Absolutely. Absolutely love this film. It is a fucking classic. I think there's nothing wrong with it. Is it a bit cheesy to some? Maybe. Not to me. I fucking love it. Um, One of my favorite movies of all time. Period. It just brings back a good time in my life. And it brings back when movies are actually made incredible. You know what I mean? I thought that movie was done very well. I need to get the DVD. I'm getting the Blu-ray. I don't want to own it because for years it's been out of print. I mean, out of fucking print, dude. Like, I gotta get it for this one gets out of print. I'm buying that ASAP, yo. So that was my review of the 1995 classic Tales from the Hood. I hope y'all enjoyed. So yeah, man. I will see y'all on the flip side. Peace.